Welcome to Lost Legends of Darkness, where we unravel the mysteries that haunt the edge of reality. Today we bring you the haunting story of Starve Acre, a tale that burrows deep into the human psyche, blending grief, folklore, and the supernatural into a chilling narrative that leaves no soul untouched. This is more than a story, it is a descent into the eerie unknown, a reminder that the darkest horrors lie buried in the most unexpected places. At the center of the story is the remote countryside home of Richard and Juliet Willoughby. Their once idyllic life has been shattered by an unthinkable tragedy, the sudden and unexplained death of their young son, Ewan. Their home, called Starve Acre, is a crumbling relic of the past, surrounded by barren land that seems devoid of life. It's said that no crops will grow there, and the locals whisper of dark legends tied to the ground. For Juliet, the grief of losing Ewan has turned into a desperate search for meaning. She becomes consumed by the idea that Ewan's spirit lingers in the house, reaching out to her. She invites a group of occultists to the home, hoping they can contact his spirit. Richard, on the other hand, is a man of logic and science. He retreats into his own obsession, uncovering the history of the land. Starve Acre itself holds a dark history, one that the townsfolk refuse to talk about openly. It is said that the land was once the site of ancient rituals, a place where a great oak tree stood, a tree rumored to have been the focal point of pagan sacrifices. When the tree was felled, the ground beneath it became cursed. Richard begins to piece together fragments of local folklore, uncovering tales of a monstrous figure known as Jack Gray, a half-man, half-beast creature that was said to guard the tree and the secrets buried beneath it. As Richard digs deeper, quite literally, into the land's past, he uncovers more than he bargained for. He finds the roots of the old oak tree, twisted and blackened, still clinging to life beneath the surface. Among the roots, he discovers a mysterious object, or a heron's skull, polished smooth as if by countless hands. The sight of it is disturbing, but Richard cannot explain why. Meanwhile, Juliet's attempts to communicate with Ewan grow more intense. The occultists claim to feel a presence in the house, something restless and angry. They perform rituals to bring it forth, and for a moment it seems as though they succeed. Strange noises echo through the halls at night. Shadows shift where they shouldn't. And then there are the voices, faint whispers that call Juliet's name. But what Juliet believes is the spirit of her son may be something far more sinister. Richard begins to notice changes in Juliet. She becomes distant, almost trance-like, as though something has taken hold of her. And the house itself begins to change. The once empty land surrounding Starve Acre starts to show signs of life, but not in the way Richard hoped. Twisted, unnatural plants begin to sprout from the barren soil, their roots tangled with the remnants of the old oak. The tension between Richard and Juliet reaches a breaking point as they both spiral deeper into their obsessions. Richard believes that the land's history is the key to understanding what's happening, while Juliet becomes convinced that their son is trying to return to them. The heron's skull, which Richard keeps locked away, seems to have a strange influence over both of them. It's as though the object itself is alive, a relic of the rituals that once took place on the land. And then comes the most chilling revelation. Richard discovers an old journal hidden in the house, a record kept by one of the previous inhabitants of Starve Acre. The journal describes the rituals performed around the old oak tree, rituals that involve not just animals but people. It speaks of Jack Gray as more than a myth, a creature summoned to protect the land from intruders. The journal warns that disturbing the tree's roots would awaken something ancient and vengeful. As the story hurtles toward its climax, reality begins to blur. Juliet claims to see Ewan in the shadows, calling to her. Richard becomes haunted by visions of Jack Gray stalking the barren fields outside the house. The line between the living and the dead grows thin, and the truth about Starve Acre comes crashing down in a horrifying sequence of events. In the end, the story leaves us with more questions than answers. Was the land truly cursed, or were Richard and Juliet victims of their own grief and desperation? Was Jack Gray a figment of folklore, or did something ancient and dark truly exist beneath the surface of Starve Acre? This tale is a chilling reminder of the power of grief, the dangers of obsession, and the thin veil that separates our world from the unknown. It's a story that lingers in your mind long after it is over, much like the whispers that haunted Juliet in the dead of night. If you've enjoyed this journey into the eerie depths of Starve Acre, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Lost Legends of Darkness. Hit the notification bell so you won't miss our next dive into the macabre and mysterious. Until next time, stay curious and beware the darkness.